Hello everyone and welcome back to the sideboard here at the Star City Games Invitational in Indianapolis, Indiana.
That's where we're at?
That's where we're at.
Oh, okay.
My name is Ruben Bressler and I'm joined by Bradley Bullfrog Nelson.
I don't know why I have that nickname, but I accept it.
I came
it's
up
awesome.
with it about a minute and a half ago.
It's pretty good.
Well, I thought that you were Bradley J, and I decided that the J stood for Jeremiah. Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
See, when you have to explain
I didn't want to have to explain it, but yeah. Bradley Bullfrog is a pretty good
What you guys
nickname.
Don't know is we're not actually doing a deck tech. We're just going to sit here
we're
and
just
talk.
going to talk about nicknames.
Yeah.
So Bard Narson has come to this tournament with another spicy brew. This time it's Naya Control,
yeah.
which are two words that don't usually go together.
I've never seen them before.
Esper Aggro or
Yeah.
Junk Combo.
Yeah, of course.
They just don't typically go together. So tell me about the genesis of this deck.
Okay, so the genesis was the moment that BBD eliminated me out of Louisville, I knew I wanted to be playing something to beat Mono Black. I was wanting to play some of the Legions. The other thing is I was thinking about playing Brave the Elements in a White Weenie Shell, and I thought maybe that's level 2. Level 1 is just playing Mono Black and everyone's going to gravitate, all the Black-White players, some of the Esper players are all going to play Mono Black, but people are going to play Mono Red and Mono White. So I want to play a deck that also beats aggressive decks.
Okay.
So I get on Moto and I see that there's a daily result that's literally all of that. It's just a Naya control deck. I'm not the originator of this strategy. I just developed it a lot throughout the week. Somebody else, masterfully did it. I added some, hits.
Sure.
Like Selesnya Kirun and Sunhome Guildmage.
Sure.
But
we'll get to those in a second.
Yeah,
but let's start out with the main win condition of the deck.
Yeah.
And I hesitate to say it's the main win condition, but it does win a lot of the games because it's basically a planeswalker you can't attack.
Yes.
And that's Assemble the Legion.
You also can't Heroes Downfall it.
You can't attack it, you can't Heroes Downfall it. It's very difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Pretty much just Detention Sphere and Golgari Charm, even if people are playing Golgari Charm.
I mean,
it's a very difficult to deal with permanent in a control, and especially in a control deck like this. Very potent win condition. Why is Assemble the Legion the best possible win condition?
Well, if any of you at home have been playing with Mono Black or looking at Mono Black, can you tell me how they beat a turn 4 or 5 Assemble the Legion? Give me any scenario of cards that a Mono Black deck can draw, at all, to actually win a game, and there isn't any. The only way they can win is trying to build up enough devotion to go Gray Merchant, and win the game that way. But it locks down their demons. It just they're going to try to remove and card draw. That's their game, is try to get it in Underworld Connections to play and kill all of my things. But they don't know that I'm actually trying to control them. And that's the key secret of this deck. I'm trying to win the late game against them. I have ways to deal with Underworld Connections. It's also decent against Esper. It's not the greatest card, but it's a threat in a can, right. An army in a can. And so it's a very good card.
And all the creatures that come out of it are obviously multicolored.
Yes.
Which is important now that people are playing more Ultimate Price with Mono Black Devotion becoming more of a thing. Doomblade's going out of favor, Ultimate Price is coming into favor. Not as big a deal with Assemble the Legion, much bigger deal with a couple of the other threats in your deck. Loxodon Smiter, I think we've all seen before.
And we've never respected.
True. It's a 3/3 for 4 with 2 positive abilities.
Yeah.
And also Selesnya Kirun is a brand new card that hasn't seen a lot of standard play. Talk to me about Selesnya Kirun.
The reason that I have Selesnya Kirun in the deck is, yes, it is a multicolored threat, so it can attack Jaces as well as knock die to Ultimate Price, which I thought was going to be way more popular in the format. But when you're playing a deck with Chain to the Rocks, you're never going to play it on turn 1. It's not like a curve card, but it does come down on turns 3 or 4, and that's a perfect time to just be able to go Kirun into that. Also, Kirun helping us make sure we have mana for our advents. We then get to play a bunch of mountains, and that's very important for our Chain to the Rocks. Just being able to have enough mountains to be able to chain them, as well as it's just kind of this accelerator into it, and then you're able to play your Dragons or your Assemble the Legions on turn 4. I've been very happy with Kirun. It actually dealt 12 damage against a Mono Black player. He had Underworld Connections. He had 4 cards in hand. I think 3 of them were Ultimate Price.
Sure. Yeah, speaking of Chain to the Rocks, this is a control deck. So there's a lot of elimination spells in this deck. There's 4 Chain to the Rocks?
There's 4 Chain to the Rocks, 4 Selesnya Charms, 4 Anger of the Gods, 4 Mortars. And the thing about this format that I like a bunch of removal is, against Esper, it's bad. All of them are really bad, and game 1 is kind of rough. But against every other deck, they're in the same thing. they're trying to play removal and creatures, but all my removal actually kills the things that can't die. So like people overvalue Demon, they overvalue Thassa, they overvalue Master Waves, and I have removal for these cards.
Right.
And so it's just amazing to be able to kill all of these things and then put some threat like a Xenagos, which is very Huntmaster, the Fells-ish in this deck. Sure. Generates a lot of creatures. It can kill people after they get attrition, or Elspeth, or even like a dragon. Like, you find a way to win a game, you don't really know what it is, but it's not synergistic, which helps against Thoughtseize.
Right.
And you can actually control everyone because your removal is so good at killing the things people actually play.
Yeah, any synergies that exist in the deck are purely coincidental.
Yeah,
just
like
because
Elspeth
they're
and,
good cards together.
Elspeth and Xenagos can do some amazing things together, but
sure.
it's not what they're there for.
Exactly. And Anger of the Gods is a card that had a lot of hype coming out, but then didn't really do anything.
Yeah, and I think
now that Nightveil Spectre is sort of taking over the metagame, it's much higher on people's radars.
And that's, I'm hedging because I think like some people are going to be playing mono red and mono white to try to counteract these hate on hate black decks. Like they're just trying to fight each other and you're just trying to get under them. And I'm just going to try to go over everyone.
Now, the main deck is surprising enough, but we have a couple of heavy hitters in the sideboard as well. Rurik Thar, seen occasionally, making a comeback now, especially because of mono black. But the real surprising one is Sunhome Guildmage.
Yeah.
You played Skarg Guildmage in your sideboard at the Pro Tour. What you do now is you're just like, what's a Guildmage that I can play that's good against Planeswalkers?
Yeah, and that's exactly what Sunhome does. Jace is a big issue. You need to be able to play something to make your Assemble the Legion tokens matter, as well as because they're probably cutting Azur's Charm against you, and they have ultimate prices over Doomblades, it's going to live and it can generate creatures. Like Selesnya Guildmage was huge back in the day. And this is like a better version of that.
Yeah.
So I think this does have a home in this deck. Rurik Thar's not for mono black, don't board it in, because we go down to 0 green creatures to fight their life main zombies. Not a single green creature's in my deck. That's why I play Advents, Xenagoses, and Dragons, just so they can't actually interact with me with life main zombie. But it does come in against mono red. I know, I'll talk about it in my article. And Esper, obviously.
Sure. Well, you just need to bring something in against mono red, and it also just finishes them off.
Yes.
You have 5 straight standard Grand Prix top 8s.
Yes.
That is
quite
the feat.
You did your homework.
That's an amazing feat. The Invitational is not a Grand Prix. It is a dual format event.
Yeah.
Half the format's Legacy and the top 8's Legacy. But today you've started out 3-1 in Legacy.
And 1-0.
And 1-0 in Standard so far. We're expecting that to be 8-0 by the end of this. So
I'm hoping to.
Very confident?
Very confident. Extremely confident. I don't know if this deck is going to exist later than this, but it's so good for this weekend.
Absolutely, and you're the master of building decks that just spike a weekend.
Yep.
So maybe this is the next hoof. There it is. You need to come up with a catchier name currently than
Naya Control is super catchy.
Actually, Naya Control is pretty
catchy. The moment you're Naya
catchy.
Control, you're just like,
yeah.
Okay, I have to look at this deck list.
Well, everyone, I'm going as him for Halloween, by the way. He doesn't know that yet. But
I didn't. Can I tell him what I'm going as Halloween?
Let's see.
I guess we're doing that. I'm going as Hodor.
Oh, geez.
I'm going as Hodor, and I'm going to put a stuffed bear on my back, and it's going to be Baran.
All right, that's it. We can't do this anymore. Brad Nelson.
Hodor.
I'm Bressler. We'll be back at the Invitational.
Hodor.